Well, let's say good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are right now in radio line with me. I want to say it's a pleasure to be in your company once again. Especially for those of you that have been listening to Radio Live since this morning via the internet. I've been sitting in control quietly here. Just right now we decided to go live on Facebook as well, but we've been here entertaining you greatly since this morning here on Radio LIB. It's a pleasure once again to be in your company this afternoon of my time from where I sit and broadcast is about 28 minutes to 3 o'clock. Coming over about 12-13 minutes or so. We'll be playing host to Mr. Mr. Krua. He is the individual that is behind the suing of the ex-president of the Republic of Liberia, Her Excellency Mrs. Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, and several others for accordingly atrocities they either supported or carried on in Liberia during the height of this civil war. Mr. Krua will be here. We'll be talking about his quest. Why and why now? Why not then? And trying to get the actual story behind the former president being sued. As you may be aware, according to the latest information from the United States of America, the U.S. court summons Madam Sirleaf already, and several others of them. We will also get to know the bottom of this, whether indeed Madam Sirleaf have responded to the court call, and the rest of them as well as his hope as well with respect to what he hoped to achieve. We all know we are talking about Africa here and African politics as well. And we all know how indeed this madam was loved by the international community, including that of the United States of America. Everything that they heard about Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf never surfaced at all during her term. America and the rest of the international community, they all kept silent. The DRC, I don't know whether that was the process through which she decided to actually use and then, be out of it by commissioning the DRC to giving room to the international community to believe that indeed, yes, Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf is doing something good. And so long she has gone to work and commissioned the TRC body and given them the power and the resources that they needed to do their work, she is in support of bringing people to justice. But we all know that some of us, human beings, we can be so crafty to the extent that we create the scenario that something is good, or we are in support of something. But deep down from the bottom of our hearts, it's completely different. And so the madam must stood behind the curtains to say, yes, I support people being brought to justice, or people being able to pay the price for causing mayhem to others. And so the commissioning of the TRC body was in good faith, by virtue of anybody who want to see justice be done in Liberia, especially since after the Civil War. A lot of them have stayed there, and we empowered them as well by giving them positions that they have to be voted for. And shamefully, we are living with that guilt. Some of us, whether one way or another, we supported most of them or not. And especially for some of us that deliberately saw it and we decided to go for it and empowered these individuals after causing mayhem, after knowing fully well that indeed they caused a serious setback for our country. We went, stood for them, and voted them to be our leaders, and voted them to steer the steers of our fears of our country. For many, they are living with such guilt right now. For many of us are living with that guilt in Liberia. And so then now is the hunt is on. For some of you, after searching your heart, you know fully well that indeed the decision and those decisions that you took yesterday were in the wrong. How can you award somebody for causing a great deal of hurt? I mean, how can you award them positively, and award that they will even be living a better life than you? It is hard. It is hard to believe that indeed, in as much as we always say that Liberians are kind of resilient people, that we are the people that think before we do things. It's far from the reality. Even if you try them for the first time and they failed you, why should you give them the second chance? Especially for those that are serving as lawmakers in Liberia. Why did you give them another second chance? You knew very, very well that these individuals have tainted characters. You voted them for the first time. You knew very, very well that even their very, very communities, their constituency in which they reside in, they made no impact. No impact. Then you went to work again and gave them the authority to say, yes, we want you back. And some of them shamefully, especially the constituents, shamefully now they are unable to even come out and defend those that we are talking about. Because you have nothing to defend. Shamefully they got you in a situation that you yourself, you are so embarrassed right now. Embarrassed to the extent that you have no words to pull out there. But we know that they normally say in Liberia, 99 days for robe, just 1 day for the master. Yesterday, many of them, we empowered them by giving them the power, and they also were using their power excessively, majority of them. We supported them by virtue of paying taxes also. They enjoyed the best of life. After contributing to the process that actually dehumanized us to the extent we were eating just anything to survive in Liberia. Before leaving Liberia, I experienced the war for about 10 years as a young person growing up. Living at the back of the Ducal Palace there. You know what I mean now? When there's food shortage, and then you will feel it. When there is water shortage, you will feel it. Living from there, going all the way to West Point to fetch water, going across the bridge or going beyond Poor River to go and look for food. While they were enjoying their lives and sleeping on the air conditioners and eating 3-course meal every day, we were struggling for survival. We're giving them, 2 chances in life, where in fact their work didn't make any impact in our lives, in our community, in our children's lives. It's an insult to the entire nation. Liberian Week, sometimes it's good for other people to refer to us as the other way, that we don't think before we do things. We do it before we think. And so, as the U.S. court summons the former president of Liberia, Madam Sirleaf, and others for alleged war crimes committed in Liberia, shortly we'll be playing host to Mr. Torli Krua, who will be speaking to us from all the way in the USA. He is the man behind this case, and his quest is that he wants to see Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf and a majority of them standing in the court to enter the plea, guilty or not guilty, with respect to the allegation that she wholeheartedly supported the MPFL then. And we all know at the end of the day what we went through. And so Mr. Krua will be here shortly. Let me see, let me throw in a song for you, and while we try to reconnect with him live from America. So let me say thank you so much for watching. You can please continue to share the videos, or invite other people to come in as well. Let's take this one from Freetown, Sirleaf. Vanity is something that we all are part of living the life. That we came here with nothing, and we're gonna leave everything. So why the corruption? Why keep other people down?
Let's go. Shake body, lose body, forget your trouble, dance for me, make you no cry, jolly jolly. Waiting God say go be, surely go be. So I worry, baby no worry, take a easy, safu safu, like no other bar. This life, hey, a vanity. When you have my something a vanity, when you tower something a vanity. Take the money you get a vanity. Vanity. Hey, vanity. What's that motor car? Vanity. Why you they kill you come for vanity? Why you want get the old one for vanity? You they kill you come slowly. You they stab and back. Before you face you smile to yeah, oh, dunia fool, but now they see you. How you walk now so easy. So I worry, baby no worry, take a easy, safu safu, life no other bar. When you tower something a vanity, take the money you get a vanity, vanity, hey, vanity. What's that motor car? Vanity, yeah man. We told the property, we told the property, and only Ikishi. Who saw you they get up with that? Always want to see me they cry. Yeah, oh. What's up on the weather? What's up on the change? Papa God they see you. How you walk now so he they kill you. So I worry. Baby, no worry. Take a easy. Safu, safu. Life no other bar. This life, hey, a vanity. When you yak something a vanity. When you tower something a vanity. Take the money you get a vanity, vanity, hey, vanity. What's that motor car? Vanity, 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 vanity. This life, hey, vanity. When you yak something a vanity, when you tower something a vanity, take the money you get a vanity, vanity, hey, vanity. What's that motor car? Vanity. Why you they kill you come for vanity? Why you want get the old one for vanity. You dey kill you coping slowly. You dey stab at night back. Before you face you smile to yeah, bo. Dunia fool. Are you not sorry?
Alright, simple mistake, eh? When you do it, you inside. 99 days for rogue, eh? One day for the master. Even for those that will not have their days in court, especially if they died before going to court, they will still have to face justice. Liberian people finish suing them already to God. So when you die, don't forget, you got two different judgments for you. The first one about your involvement in the killing and meaning of the Liberian people. Then when you do that one, after that, the real judgment that God says you will face. So don't think you'll go free. Enjoy all the money you're enjoying now. The power we gave you. Continue to enjoy the power. But one day, you will stand before us and tell us why. Why were you so heartless? Why did you do it? Why did you do it? Why did you go against your own people? And funny enough, we turn around, we pay them, give them luxuries for causing a setback for all of us. Hey, Liberia. sir. Yeah. And you can call anytime now. Just call the USA number, yeah? Yeah. We're set for you, yeah? And then, this afternoon, a simple mistake, you were out. The biggest mistake, you go to jail for a good number of years. Even for 30 years, it will be good. For 40 years, it will be alright. At least their freedom will be seized as well. Alright, shortly, we'll be going live in the States. Alright, you're in the office right now. Don't make no mistake, you wonderful carers, nurses, doctors, teachers. Please don't make any mistake. But when you make it, a lot of people will face the wrath of it. So that's it, don't. Alright, it's 3 o'clock here in the United Kingdom. 3 p.m. It's 2 p.m. in Liberia. Bon Kante, your afternoon. Oh yeah, we still love our Lone Star, eh? Hey, Lone Star. Hey, the beautiful, beautiful flag. Always, always wishing this a wonderful country success. When are we gonna get into it? If you're watching live right now or listening via the internet, just tune up volume a little bit. Put small bass there. Alright, we're getting a call coming in now. Hopefully that could be our studio guest. Let's see. Let's see. Still trying to be reconnected. Right. Hello, is that Mr. Krua?
Yes, sir.
All right, great. It's great. It's great to have you on. Thank you. Finally, let me do some adjustment quickly.
My time has been fast spent, so I think for this one we won't have too much time today.
No problem. I mean, we can keep the ball rolling today, and then we can go, because I know it's early morning there. You have to go to work. Anyway, let me say good afternoon or good morning to you. It's afternoon here in the United Kingdom, but good morning to you, sir.
Good morning. How are you doing today?
I'm very well. Thank you for asking. I hope you are doing well too.
Yes.
First of all, just because of time, then, for the benefit of those that are thousands of people that are listening to you right now, could you just take at least a few seconds to tell us who you are and what you are?
My name is Torli Krua, and I was born in Tapeta, Nima County, in the Republic of Liberia. I went to school. I started my education in Zia. It's a small town southwest of Tapeta, about 12 miles. And at a school called Zia Mission School. The school was built by my father and some of his friends. My father does not have any informal education, but they had a goal. They wanted their children and the children in the community to go to school. So he and his friends started a school, and that's where I began my education. I have to mention that because the prevailing sense in Africa today is that the only way you can develop a country is you got to go abroad, borrow money from other people. You need other people to help you to do everything. I think it's completely wrong. If we have waited in our village for companies to build school, for missionaries to build school, for government to build school, I would never have been educated. And so I really give credit to my parents for opening the door of education. The school existed many years ago, is still there today, is still educating people there as an independent community initiative that is not supported by the government of Liberia or any other government.
Right.
And my background is in computers and telecommunication. I work for the Wine Computer Company in Brussels, technical support specialist for Africa, Middle East, and Europe. So I work in a lot of the countries in Ireland, in Zimbabwe, in Kenya, Mali, Senegal, a lot of the countries. And then the chaos in Liberia started. It started from the United States. It was organized in the United States of America, planned and financed in the United States from the United States of America. And it shattered my life and the life of many others. For the past almost 30 years now, or maybe 20, 27, or 28 years, I left Liberia. I came to Boston. I've always lived here since I came. I've been in Boston, Massachusetts. and that's where I've been working. I've established an organization that helps refugees, Universal Human Rights International, help refugees in the United States, and we also promote participatory democracy in African nations. We work with people from about 40 different countries. I'm also co-founder of the Greater Boston Refugee Ministry in Boston.
Right.
The work I do here is volunteer work, and we have been focused on helping people who have been victims of war, victims of torture, that come to the United States looking for a better life and looking for opportunities. But we are also very, very much interested in having people who came to the United States to return to their native countries when it is safe for them to do so, for them to bring back to their countries democracy, participatory democracy, not just the same old democracy where you elect people and then you sit down and do nothing and expect them to do everything. It's a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. The people have to be the ones who are the masters, and the government is only a servant, like a tool in the hands of the people. We don't have that type of government system in African nations.
No.
And so, for almost 30 years I've been here downstream helping people who have been victimized by war. But now the emphasis is switching. Instead of being downstream where we help refugees, we want to prevent. We want to put time and resources into prevention of chaos, prevention of torture, prevention of the types of atrocities that have gone on in so many African countries, because the governments we have in Africa, in African nations, are governments that people go into government not to serve, but they go to get rich. They go to get rich, and at all costs. In Liberia, for example, the life of young children are at serious risk because we have this ritualistic killing where people want to be in government, and when election time is coming, they will rip up the genitals of little boys and girls and sacrifice them to the devil to be able to hold positions. This has gone on for a long time. We have not been helping anyway by the countries that fund, that provide financial technical assistance to poor countries like the European Union or the United States. They turn a blind eye to those type of atrocities. They also turn a blind eye to the question of the compensation that government officials get in Liberia, for example, just like many other African countries. People go in government to get rich, and once they get there, they set their own salaries and benefits. Contrary to the Liberian Constitution, Article 90 says that conflict of interest is prohibited by the Constitution. Even so, we see that today in Liberia, the lawmakers make salaries and benefits that are higher than the lawmakers in the United States of America, in the American states. And it makes no sense at all. For example, in California, the state with $270 billion budget, lawmakers there, senators make $8,750. They don't have a free car, free gas, free bodyguard. But in the Republic of Liberia, the president pro tem of the Senate and the Speaker of the House of Representatives make $483,000 and $444,000. It's just crazy. It's completely crazy. The President of the United States makes only $400,000 a year. The Speaker of the House of the United States Congress makes only $223,000 a year. The people who serve in government in Liberia are supposed to be the servant of the people. And when you have a servant working in your shop, you, the owner of the shop, determine the salary and benefits of the person working for you.
Okay.
But it's upside down in Africa. And I know this because I live in Gambia, I live in Sierra Leone, I live in Mali, in Senegal, Zimbabwe, Malawi, all these countries are very similar.
Okay.
It has to change.
Let me hold you there a little bit.
Serious cost in terms of the lives of people. It's coming at the serious cost in terms of the future.
Mr. Krua?
We really can't wait.
Mr. Krua, let me hold you there a little bit. Let me hold you there a little bit, just a little bit. Let's establish because of time as well. Like you say, you are pressed with time. I have plenty of time, but you don't. So perhaps let's kick the ball rolling, and then we'll come back and we'll invite you another time where at least we can go in depth, because your CV right now, I am so much intrigued by it, and I'm so much. It's like I just want to have you here for the next hours talking about Africa in general, but because of time. Let me first of all establish this. You started by saying that the war, which of course 14 years civil war in Liberia started in the West, it started in America also. At the same time, it caused a mayhem in Liberia. But how long did you take in the war before you left Liberia? Because for me, I was a young person. I took about 10 years. I experienced the war before having the opportunity to leave. How many years did you spend before leaving?
I was in Monrovia up until May of 1990, and then I had to leave just before the airport shut down. I left Liberia, and then I came back again. I think in September after the president was killed. I came back to Liberia, and then I had to leave again. But like I said, I was working for a company, and I was working within the United States. When I went back the second time, I was actually working at the United States Embassy.
Okay.
In Monrovia, yes.
Right. Is there any, before we come to the lawsuit here, but do you have any maybe a kind of a synopsis that you can distinguish between the 1980, which of course we had let's say democratically elected government that was overthrown, between 1980 and 1990? Can you distinguish that? Because we're laying the foundation now to come to the lawsuit.
So what happened in 1990 was a violent military takeover of the government of Liberia.
That was 1980, right?
That was 1980. And in 1989, there was another, I think also probably in 1985, there was another military attempt in Liberia. I think it was led by Kpakio. And then in 1989, Charles Steele was in prison in Massachusetts. And according to him, he was released from prison, and they organized a guerrilla group, and they went and they started shooting, killing, raping, etc. So that was in 1989, and that was something that the former President Sirleaf and a lot of other people were part of.
And so, like for example, if you are coming to a lawsuit as well, but I'm trying to establish something here. If one is deciding to take a lawsuit against those who actually perpetrated the 1989 war that lasted for 14 years, is there any chance that you can go beyond that as well? Maybe to say 1980. Why is it that the military took over in Liberia and also sued those Apaches?
Okay, so just a point of correction. I am not, and I have not filed a lawsuit based on wars in Liberia. That's not what I filed lawsuit for. I filed lawsuit for things that was done to me.
Oh, okay, right.
The United States of America is not. I was not elected by anybody to do anything. For almost 30 years, I served here voluntarily I offer services. I travel to most of the African countries, from Nigeria to Ghana to Ivory Coast, Guinea, Senegal, helping Liberians to get resettlement here in the United States. And I did that voluntarily. Nobody asked me to do it. It was a voluntary thing.
Right.
And so I am not filing a lawsuit on behalf of the whole Republic of Liberia trying to correct stuff that happened back then.
Okay.
This is specifically things that happened to me. In the United States, we have the Second Amendment. Second Amendment gives people living in America the opportunity and the legal right to bear arms, which means that as an American resident, you can buy a gun and keep it in your house for self-protection. The government of the United States does not authorize anyone to form a guerrilla group or to go and torture people. It's completely outlawed. So what those people did here in the United States was a complete violation of their immigration status as American citizens or American United States persons with lawful residency.
Yeah.
So it was completely illegal. It was completely illegal operation that they carried out from this country.
So,
and being someone who was directly impacted, I am taking my stance, and other people are free to take their stance. I can tell you today, all of the rebel factions have been disbanded. They don't exist anymore.
No.
But the warlords still exist, and a lot of them have been rewarded for their role. And people, have the right to go to the law if there are laws. Because you go to law, you go for a law, so there got to be a law that you got to cite that people violate.
Yes.
So that's the important distinction I want to make.
All right, thank you. Now, this is the story that is going around. Right? It's all the way, it's known in Liberia, all the way in Liberian community as well. That you sued Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf and several others. Is the story true, and why?
It's positively true. Yes, I did. And I did that because she was an organizer. Illegally, she was one of the perpetrators. She aided and abetted. She provided material and financial support to the people who went to Liberia to carry on violence in that country, which personally affected me, yes. So she was responsible and has to be held liable because everything she did was completely illegal and unlawful by American laws. And the lawsuit is based on statutes in the United States of America.
Now the District Court of Massachusetts, where the lawsuit is being petitioned anyway, in Boston. According to the latest news, saying that they have summoned the former president of Liberia. Is the story true? And if it is so,
yes,
do you know?
Absolutely true. So,
do you know why is she
first
now?
of all, the District Court of Massachusetts and all federal district courts have jurisdiction. They have been given jurisdiction by the law, by the statutes, for them to be able to intervene in these types of cases. And so, yes, the district court is the appropriate venue with the proper jurisdiction to hear the case. A judge has been assigned and summons have been issued, yes.
So, Mr. Krua,
I have to also tell you, that this is not the first of its kind. There are two other lawsuits that are similar. One of those lawsuits happened to do with a young man called Chucky Taylor, who was also convicted in federal district court in Florida. For things that for actions of torture and other things that the atrocities he committed in Liberia, and he was found guilty. So this is nothing new. It's something that already has a precedent based on the statutes.
All right.
Also, there is a second lawsuit that's going on right now pertaining to 9/11. People came from somewhere and attacked here in the United States during 9/11.
Okay,
And
let's focus on our backyard. Let's focus on our backyard. Now the lawsuit is in Boston, Massachusetts, where you are, and Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf is residing in Liberia. I mean, how is that going to materialize in terms of getting her to attend a court hearing, to even enter a plea, guilty or not guilty?
Well, that's the lawsuit is in court, and the court knows how to go about that. That's out of my hands.
So why didn't you? Why didn't you?
How to do that? And I have to also tell you that a lot of these people who have carried on some of the planning in Liberia have their base in the United States of America. These are people who are either American citizens or United States persons with lawful permanent residency in the United States who have used the territory of the United States to carry on all kinds of stuff in the past. So, it's not, unless you want to run away from America, but it's not something that is going to be, it's within the control of the law.
So why didn't you sue? Why didn't you sue her in Liberia?
I don't live in Liberia. I don't live in Liberia, number one. Number two, the statutes which she violated are not Liberian laws. These are American laws. So if the statutes are American, if the laws are American laws that were violated, and if I do not live in Liberia, I cannot possibly go to sue in Liberia. Besides that, like I said, these are United States citizens or United States persons with lawful permanent residency or lawful residency in the United States. They're allowed to live here, work here, go to school here, and other things. And so the law has to take its course.
Okay. According to this story, Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf and others, including former President Charles Taylor, the government of Liberia, represented by President George Weah, former Defense Minister Jacon T. Thomas, and the U.S. Navy, represented by 8th Secretary Richie Spencer. I mean, you got big names here. Why are you suing the government of Liberia under the leadership of George Weah? Why is he mentioned there?
Because all of the entities, the rebel entities, have been disbanded, as I said, but the individual rebel leaders are still there. They're still in business. The Liberian government was not disbanded. The Liberian government was a party, was a combatant during the war, and they carry out their own atrocities as well. And so it's a matter of law. Governments can sue and be sued.
So, in this case now, I mean, because there are other names that we know definitely those names are supposed to be mentioned, but this your president or this Liberian president just took over and think. I mean, what do you expect of him? I mean, what do you expect for him to say? Because
part of the reason why there's a lawsuit now is that the government of Liberia, being combatant in the war, carry out atrocities as well. They're very well documented. One of the things that they should have done a long time ago is to start genuine reconciliation based on the TRC report so that we can have peace and so that we can have justice. For 12 years, the TRC report has not been implemented. It is not a priority. There's nothing done in terms of reconciliation. National reconciliation has not started at all.
Right.
And so it's like building a house on the sand. That's the first thing. Second thing is that in addition to the question of whether or not we have national reconciliation, we have the same old issues that caused the war as still there. For example, I started by telling you the salaries and benefits of people who serve in the Liberian government compared to people who serve in the United States government. The United States government has trillions of dollar budget. And if you compare the Speaker of the United States Congress making $250 $423,000 a year, with the Speaker of the Liberian legislature making $483,000 a year, more than double. You know the government does not exist for the citizens. It cannot provide basic services at all.
Okay.
And so that is why people will go to fight war, so they can get in a position to do all those things to be able to control the resources of the country against the will of the people who live there.
Okay, Mr.
Now,
Krua.
if those root causes have not been addressed, then you still have a situation where Joe Blow can get up tomorrow without accountability. Joe Blow can get and say, hey, I can go do the same thing. I can go take over the country. Well,
okay.
If those things are allowed to continue, we really don't have a future. And besides that, the young children, like Princess, there's a young girl called Princess who, her 13 years old, private parts were removed. She died. Those things should not be tolerated at all. But as long as you have the incentive for ritualistic killing, incentive for impunity, incentive for people not giving account, those things will continue.
Okay. Now, there's another plaintiff there. The plaintiff, one of it is the U.S. Navy. A lot of people, since the story came out, a lot of people asking,
Defendant.
What? Yeah, defendants. Sorry, thank you. They asking questions. Oh, why? Why the Navy? Why not the whole the whole Ministry of Defense of the United States of America? And then, why did you single out the U.S. Navy? And in this case,
again, the matter is in court and it's going to take its course. It's based on things that was done specifically to me.
Okay.
Now, you have, if you study your history, you're going to find out that on March 3, 1819, the United States Congress passed a law called the Act in Addition to Acts Prohibiting Slave Trade that gave the United States President the authority to deploy the United States Navy into Liberia. The United States Navy was the first entity to come to Liberia. If you recall, in the history of Liberia, there's a gentleman called Robert Stockton, captain of the United States Navy, who sort of negotiated purchasing of land in Liberia for the settlers who were American citizens to come and settle. You recall, he put his pistol, which was United States property, on the head of King Long Peter. If you read history, you also find out that Maltita Newport fired a cannon that killed a lot of native people. That was the United States Navy cannon. So she didn't have her own weapon. These people were recruited and paid by the United States Navy, transported by the United States Navy to Liberia, a territory which at the time was not under the jurisdiction of the United States law or any other sovereign country. And so they could do whatever they could,
right,
or whatever they wanted to do. And for me, based on things that happened to me personally,
okay, I got you.
I believe that it's time that we have an independent inquiry into what the Navy did and didn't do in Liberia from that time until the time of the war. And as I told you, I went back. I left in May, but I went back again with the United States Navy. I was actually transported by a Navy helicopter into the embassy compound, and I stayed there for some time. And there was some other incident that happened that needs to be, brought to the fore.
Now, I don't want to go into detail because we know that this is a court thing. Is a lot of questions now cannot be answered. They have to be reserved for the lawyers to take course of it.
But talk about what is important. What is important is that little children, other people's children, should not, their private parts should not be offered to any devil.
Indeed.
That is why the salary of people in a poor country that doesn't even have $1 billion budget should not be more than countries with trillions of dollar budget. That is the important thing that we need to talk about.
Indeed.
Because that's the root cause of the issue.
Indeed.
So can we address that?
Yeah. Let's address it. But let me close to this one. According to the court document, the president, if you haven't heard, but the former president, let me put it that way, she's spoken out against this lawsuit, and this is what was said in America and what she said as well. According to the court document, the suit was filed on Friday, 26 March, and Judge Dennis Kpakio was assigned to the case. Sirleaf reportedly told Prime FM, that's in Monrovia the last time, in Monrovia last week, that she was unaware of the lawsuit against her. She promised to file a suit against those speaking or spreading the news if the report of the suit was untrue. She, however, promised to contact her lawyer in the U.S. to investigate the information regarding the suit. The former Liberian leader also urged those suing her for her alleged role in the country's civil war to do so in Liberian court rather than in the U.S. That's why I asked you the last, firstly, why. Now this is why she's saying that perhaps she may not even attend the hearing there.
I can't speak for her. She can speak
I know,
for
yeah.
Look, I'm a poor guy. I don't have anything. Everything I have with this drug.
That was the next question. That's the next.
I don't have money. I don't have anything, and that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about, and even the fact of a law being people going to Liberia to sue in Liberia. There are so many people in Liberia. Let those who live in Liberia sue in Liberia, and those who are not in Liberia, sue where they are. If it comes down to that.
Okay, we're waiting for the 21 days because according to the Massachusetts court there, they have given them 21 days for all of them to respond. So let's hope. But then these root causes that you're talking about, I mean, they are serious problem, and I must admit that.
Does it make sense? Does it make sense to you? Does it make any sense to you that a grown person would go and take a knife and put it on a innocent 5-year-old and cut them and kill them for them to get power? Does it make sense to you that we have a country that doesn't even have $1 billion budget, with people getting cars, $117,000 gas a year, $40,000 for maintenance of a vehicle a year? What sort of nonsense is that? And nobody wants to talk about it.
Yeah, that is about, because at the end of the day, well, the root causes that you mentioned, which you just trying to propound on as well again, are those elements that actually contribute to somebody becoming maybe greedy for power, and greed wherein they think that worth is only for them and they can do anything to go away with it. But leaving the case one side and coming to that part of the discussion, to you personally as a Liberian, concerned Liberian, because if you are not concerned, perhaps you won't be doing what you are doing. And in fact, one of the questions I wanted to ask is, I mean, are you doing this single-handedly? Because this is something big. Money involved. Lawyers have to be paid, and where we are. Lawyers are charged per hour or so, and I don't know how are you going to deal with this?
So, they say the journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step.
Yeah.
What has happened and what needs to happen is not just for me. It's about the future of not just Liberia, but the future of the whole continent. When we started our country, if we had done the right thing, a lot of the other countries would have followed suit. But because we started something that was selfish and greedy, a lot of the other countries have followed it. We can be the light. That's why it's called the Lone Star, the rising Lone Star on our continent. So when I look at the country, I don't think it's too late, but I think it's going to take everyone. We have to join one by one. We cannot be spectators. If you wait until somebody put their knife on your child, then you're a fool. when you find people are doing that thing, that's the time you speak out right away. You know, you should not be afraid of people, especially evil people. You should not be afraid of them. They should be afraid. Those who steal should be afraid. Those who kill should be afraid, but not other people. And so I think that what it boils down to is I'm a Christian person, and I respect my faith. And as a Christian, I believe God is over everyone, but I believe also that we have individual responsibilities. And I do not think for once that the root causes should continue to be there. Nobody, if you want, Jesus said in the Bible, those who want to be the greatest should be the servant of all. If you want to be in government, that means you want to serve. And the function of government is not to build, you know, it's not to do everything for everybody in the country, but rather to provide justice, to provide security, to provide equal opportunities so that everyone can use their God-given talents to advance themselves. Today we have thousands of Africans drowning in the Mediterranean Sea, fighting to go to Europe, a place where they don't have that much natural resources. Like Switzerland, for example. Switzerland doesn't have all that much natural resources.
No.
People are dying to go there because they're looking for opportunities. We have natural resources, and it takes nothing. You don't have to buy opportunities. So we need to create opportunities in our country. We need to create justice. We need to have a system that respects human dignity. And people who want to serve in government should not be doing so because they want to build mansions tomorrow. As soon as they become senator, they start breaking their whole house down. When they become president, they start breaking their house down to build new one. That's not what it is. Like, for example, I was watching on Facebook the other day, and these people were complaining how the Lebanese people have brought a lot of expired toxic goods, and they're selling them in Liberia, juices, food. We should be exporting food. If you look at the climate we have, look at how much rainfall, how many rivers we have. We should be producing food. The call should go out. Liberian young people go make farm, you know, produce food and sell it. Eat what you grow what you eat. That should be the call that everybody, and those are cheap. We don't have to take loan to do that. Those are very cheap and easy solutions that cost nothing.
Mr. Krua, no, because of time as well. This is it now. Maybe it could be a bit hypothetical, but optimistic. I don't know how optimistic are you as far as this journey is concerned, and you think you will ever achieve in this battle?
Oh, I know. Not even I think. I know. Because if God is on your side, you know, you already have victory. It takes 9 months to carry a baby before you can have labor and bring the baby to birth. 9 months. People go in birth pain. The woman has to cry in the delivery room and bring forth their children. And they come equipped with over 70,000 miles of blood vessels in their body. It's not human that's doing that. And God created them with gifts and talents for them to make a contribution to our world. When people start to destroy life, it should be a concern to everyone. This case is not about me. It's not about my future. It's about the future of children in Africa and in Liberia. And I'm calling every single human being who understand what it is to go through pain of birth, childbirth, to join me. Make it your issue.
Okay.
Make it your issue, so that it's not just, you know, everybody sit down and watch me and say, well, let's see whether you'll be successful or not.
Now,
it shouldn't be that. One by one, people should get up and say, what can I do to make sure that we have justice? What can I do to make sure we have security? What can I do to make sure we have equal opportunities? And we all can do something. That's the call. That's the challenge for this particular lawsuit. And everyone must get involved. Because if you don't get involved, if you take away your talent, if you take away your opportunities, and you don't join the march, you create more space for more victims of war. You create more space for more people to come and do the same thing, to bring wars around. You know, it's like wildfire across the continent of Africa. It should not be that way. And I just want to appeal to people. The website is clear, 99 days for Rogue, 1 day for Master, mastersday.com. That's www.mastersday.com. People should endorse the case. People should volunteer to file a friend of the court brief on behalf of them. So people should come on and say, I want to be a witness. That's what it's supposed to be. It's not about even the president or the former president.
Right.
It's about the future of humanity. It's about all of us.
Okay. Now, Mr. Krua, I think we will add those information on our page, Facebook page, so that people can follow quickly. But this is where we are now. I think perhaps you are the first Liberian that that doing this one-person business. Let me put it that way. But there's also a call now for the establishment of war crimes court in Liberia to be sponsored by maybe the international community. Now we also have the TRC, which is stay under the carpet or so. First of all, I have to put it that way. It's under the carpet. Let me put it that way. First of all, do you foresee the actuality of setting up a war crimes code coming to light in Liberia? Will you ever?
Oh, absolutely yes, absolutely yes. And you know who it depends on? A lot of people think it depends on the president, but no, it depends on the people, one by one. Again, people have to make a demand. Frederick Douglass said that power concedes nothing without a demand. If you hire somebody and the person is working for you, who determines the salary of that person that is working for you? It's you, the boss.
Yeah.
And if the person that is working for you come to work and start doing something else that you don't want, who should step up and say, no, that's not what I want? The citizens, ordinary citizens, are the boss. Article 1 of the Liberian Constitution said all power is inherent in the people. All free government are instituted by their authority. And it's the people who have to make a demand. They are the ones who are paying the salary, or at least they are the ones that are supposed to be paying the salary of these people. So if you get an old president that doesn't like the TRC or that doesn't like reconciliation, people step up one by one and say, we like reconciliation. It's going to happen because that's what the people want.
Yeah, but
because these people are public servants and they are working for the people. But if everybody just sit down and say, I can do anything they want to do.
But at the same time, Mr. Krua, just before we wrap up for this first segment, the current president of Liberia was in the Senate when the TRC was fully documented and presented to the president, the former president. Okay, since then, we didn't hear him say anything about the TRC or so, especially even when you're in the House as a senator. Up to this present, the president haven't made any comment. Questions coming out, there's no rightful answer yet. You think under this government we will see the implementation of the TRC?
Absolutely, yes. Because it's not up to him. He's a servant, a temporary servant. He campaigned to be a servant. When you're not doing his own thing, he was on his own. But he campaigned to be a servant of the people, and he put his hand on the Constitution, on the Bible, and raised his right hand and said, I swear. He took an oath, not to do his own thing, but to do what the people want.
But
it's going to be left with the people. The people cannot just, again, like I said, he applied for this job. Nobody forced him. He applied for the job. He got the job. And the job, he took an oath to protect and defend the Constitution.
All right, finally.
The people are the custodian of that Constitution.
But then why you think then 2 terms, Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf never touched this TRC?
Because people didn't demand. If the people were going to demand, they were going to, like I said, if you got a shop, somebody can say, I want to work for you so you can pay me. You take them, they start working for you, and then they take what they shall, they say, I will pay myself, and you don't talk. And then they come into work, they say, oh, come to work every day, they start coming to work once a month, and you don't talk, and they still paying them, say, you don't talk. It's not the person, it's not your employee, it's you, the employer, that is on you. So I think that that's why, this whole lawsuit thing, I think is going to serve as education, because a lot of people believe that falsely that you can't take former president to court, or you can't take government to court, or you can't take, people don't know, but now they know.
It does happen. It does happen. I remember I think 82 years old man last year here in the United Kingdom was sentenced to 30 years in prison for the war in Northern Ireland. So obviously, it's just a days when that time reaches, forget it. Yeah, you'll face it, especially where human rights is always protected also. But Mr. Krua, I mean, for this first segment, finally, just before we let you go, hopefully you'll keep your lines open for us. We'll bring you back here so we can talk more about peace and tranquility in Liberia, how we can work together to achieving that. But how do people, Liberian people that are listening to you right now, how do they get involved? How do they find you? What do they need to do? Like me sitting here in London as well. What can I do? I'm interested.
Anyone who hears me and knows that these problems that I'm talking about were long before I was born needs to get involved today. You don't have to wait. People in places of worship need to get involved as group. Organizations need to get involved. Individuals need to get involved. Everyone needs to get involved. And the way to get involved, to get contacted, is to go to www.mastersday.com. 99 days for role, 1 day for master. www.mastersday.com. That's the place to go. When you go there, it's going to tell you, even people who are mad about this lawsuit, there's a space for them to enter their, to say, no, I don't want this, I want to let bygone be bygone. There's a place for them to click and make their voices to be heard. People who think that we should carry it forward, there's a place for them. People who think it's good for us to carry forward, but we need to bring war crime court to them. There's also a space for them. People want to make a contribution, $1, $2. There's a space for them too. So there's space for everybody on the 99 Day for Road Business on the website.
Wow, Mr. Krua, I mean, all we can say though, we appreciate your time today on Radio LIB. We also appreciate you sharing the stories well, and also encouraging us as well, giving us the opportunity as well to encourage ourselves to join in the quest in finding true justice for not only for ourselves now, but like you said, for even the unborn that are coming, because they are also feeling the burden right now. That pregnant woman is also feeling the burden right now. It's all because of yesterday. So let me extend my thanks and appreciation to you on behalf of Radio LIB for you giving us your time. And please keep your lines open for us as well, so that we'll be able to reach you and follow up.
I want to invite you to go to www.mastersday.com and put your name. You should be the first person, and then spread the word on your social media. It's the time for this. The time has come. It has nothing to do with me or my children or my family. It's the people's business. We have to move our country forward. We have to move the continent forward so that people don't go get drowned in the Mediterranean Sea because they want to look for opportunities somewhere.
Okay.
If God has given us all the natural resources and wealth, we don't need to buy opportunity. We need to guarantee security, justice, equal opportunity for our people. And so I want to invite you to go there now, and I'll be checking to see your name coming through.
Thank you very much, sir. And thank you. Enjoy the rest of your, morning and afternoon as well.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye. Oh, yes, Liberia.
Please give me a new day. 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 Please give me a new day.
Oh, yes. When you sow the seed of rice, as rice you will reap. When you plant that coconut,
promised me.
What you will get at the end
Ask you what the God that
will be goodness.
that's what I've come to you, Lord. Jesus.
When you plant wickedness, definitely you will also reap wickedness.
You are the only God.
And the Bible says, no sin
You are
go unpunished.
answer.
Even the Quran
You said that I'm
also says the same. So wherever you are, whatever you are doing,
I've come to you with my pains.
whether you're an advocate,
To you with my trouble.
whether you speak for social justice, or you call yourself a voiceless individual,
What I want is a new day.
speaking out for the voiceless, the call is now. Liberia needs you most.
I should forget you. That's what I'm
Let's say thanks to our studio guest,
Behold,
Mr. Torli
to a new day.
Krua, for this wonderful
You are to serve
time with us here on Radio Library.
all the eyes of them that see it with my goal. What's my enemies?
Until another time,
Please give me
I want to say thank you so much for tuning in.
a new day.
God bless you,
Give me a new
and God bless Mama Liberia.
I don't want yesterday. All I want is a new day. Yesterday broke my heart. Yesterday brought me peace and frustration. I don't want yesterday. All that I want is a new day. Give me a new day. Give me a new day.